So today we will do the chapter 13. Just to quickly summarize yesterday's teachings, not many shlokas, just the Bhakti Yoga small chapter we did yesterday, Yoga or devotion. Basically, God talks about the manifest versus unmanifest forms of God. Kleshodiktaras tesham avyakta sachesam avyakta hi gatir dukham devad bhruvapte. You can attain Brahman or the unmanifest Nirgun through the sagun or the attribute path, because we are born with attributes. We have some ahamkara, ego identification. So it is easier to identify with a relatable form. That is why God with attributes, which would be Isht Devtas, is a good way to attain the eventual Brahman, which is imperishable and unmanifest, because unmanifest is where perfection happens. Also, he talks about the different kinds of people, because some people are drawn into devotion, their mind totally absorbed in God. But for people who are not able to absorb their mind in God, they can start with a mechanical practice, sakam karma, and then slowly morph it into tyaga or nishkam karma. But either ways, the karma activity has to be done, because this is manifest world of samsara. And of course, then there's the shlok shreyo hi jnanam abhyas saj jnana dhyanam vishijate dhyanat karm phal tyagas taj gachanti nantram. Shreyo hi jnana abhyas. So better than mechanical practice is knowledge, better than knowledge is meditation, and better than meditation also is tyaga, or doing all the activity and not taking any claim or proprietorship over the activity we do, because we are just the modality. Body is just the medium, but the gunas of Prakriti are doing the work. And then he talks about what kind of people are dear to God. Adveshta Sarbhutana Matra Karunecho Nirmamo Nirahankar Samduk Sukshami. People who are Nirmamo and Nirahankar, that is not having moha and not having ego identification. The people who are having samdrishti, or equally disposed towards different creatures, those kind of people who are sthit pragya and samdrishti, samdarshita, those kind of individuals are uh, uh, priya, or dear to God. And being dear to God means getting divine uh, blessings in whatever we are doing. So we are developing kind of divine trait in ourselves. So that brings us closer to realizing Paramatman, merging in the Paramatman. All right, friends. So today, a very important chapter, chapter 13. It's called Kshetra Kshetragya Vibhag Yoga. So basically, this is Sankhya Yoga. In chapter 2 also, we talked a little bit about Indriya and Man and here and there. But basically, this will talk about the distribution of creation, which in chapter 7 we call Prakriti. But here it will be a bigger form, in which it is called Kshetra or field, and Kshetragya is the knower of the field. So chapter 13 basically talks about the subdivisions of Kshetra, or field of activity, which is basically the field of Prakriti. But whereas in chapter 7 we learned about the Mahabhut and uh, what was it? Bhumirapanalo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhirevcha Hankaritya Bhinna Prakriti Rasdha. Those 8 elements that constitute Prakriti: Bhumi, Api, Nal, Vayu, Kham, which is the earth, water, fire, air, ether, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, uh, which is mind, intellect, ego, Ahankaritam Bhinna Prakriti Rasdha. That is the 8 components of Prakriti. So now we are going to learn about the upper and the lower Prakriti. And then that totally constitutes the Kshetra and then the Kshetragya, or the knower of the field, which are basically the Atman and the Paramatman. All right, let's start. Prakritim Purusham Chav Kshetram Kshetragyam Cha Etad Veditum Ikshami Jnanam Geyam Keshva. O Keshav, I wish to understand the Prakriti and Purush, and what are the Kshetra and Kshetragya. I also wish to know what is true knowledge and what is the goal of getting this knowledge. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramati abhidiyate etadyo veti tam prahu kshetrageti tadvid. Idam shariram, idam means this. This sharir, Arjun, know it to be the kshetra, or the field of activity. etadyo veti tam prahu kshetrageti tadvid. Though that entity that knows the field is the knower of the field. So Atman in each of us as individual moiety is the knower, and Paramatman as the uh, undivided totality that is still distributed in each body is the knower. So there are two kinds of knowers, Atman and Paramatman. But there is only one to be known, or the field of activity, that is the Prakriti, which is called Kshetra here. Here the language used is Kshetra and Kshetragya, field and knower of the field of activity. Kshetragyam chapi mam vidhu sar kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetragyor jnanam yataj jnanam matamam. Oh Arjun, I am also the knower of the individual fields. What does that mean? So each of us are at least knower of our own field. We are knower of what we do, what we have thought before, what we are intending to think again. So we are the individual knowers, but then there is one supreme knower that knows what's going on in each of these individual things, just like a supercomputer that might be connected to each individual computer. So it knows what's going on in each of the individual computers there. So that is why Paramatma is the supercomputer that knows what's going on in each and every individual. Tat kshetram yach yadrik yadvikariyatasya satyat prabhavastat samasen me shunu. Now tat kshetram, all those fields, what they are, how they operate, what creates them, how transformations happen, all those things I'm going to explain to you. So listen carefully. ऋषिभिर बहुधा गीतम छंदोभि विविध पृथक ब्रह्मसूत्र पदश्चयम हेतु मद्भिर विनिश्चित. A lot of Rishi Munis have described the field and the knower of the field. Brahma Sutra also carries the details about the field and the knower of the field. Mahabhutani ahankaro buddhi avyakme cha indriyani dashaikam cha panchendriya gochra. So this is basically a detailed version of the seventh shloka that we always refer to. So just look here. Mahabhutani ahankaro buddhi avyakme cha indriyani dashaikam cha panchendriya gochra. So this is the Sankhya philosophy that distributes the kshetra, basically Prakriti, into 24 different components, which we will cover. But let's first compare it vis-a-vis to Bhumirapun Vayu Kham Manobudhirecha Ahankar Etyame Bhinna Prakriti Rajda. What does it say here? Very important to. So this way you will understand the difference between the words Kshetra and Prakriti, because both of them are used interchangeably. Prakriti, Shrishti, sometimes even Mahatattva, and then there is this Kshetra or field. So what are the terminologies? Because that will help us understand what we are not, then we will know what we are. Okay. Bhumirapun Vayu Kham Manobudhirecha Ahankar Etyame Bhinna Prakriti Rajda. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, ego. These are 8 components of my material energy, Yog Maya. Apare mitasvanyam prakriti vidhi me param jibhuta mahabho yedam dharati jagat. That is my inferior energy. But there is also a superior energy, Arjun, and that superior energy is called Jiv Shakti, the soul energy, which comprises the embodied souls. So what is that? That is Kshetragya. When he talks about Jiv Bhuta Mahabaho Yayedam Dharate Jagat, the basis of the creation is Jiv Bhut. What does that mean? Without the observer, the observation cannot be sustained. Without the Jiva, the creation cannot be sustained. Without the enjoyer, the experience cannot be created. So Jiv Bhut, we people are living in this Prakriti of this Mahabhut that is created. Etyudonini bhutani sarvani ityubdharaya aham kritasnasya jagata prabhava pralayastata. Know that all living beings are manifested by these two energies. I am the source of entire creation, and again it dissolves in me. That is referring to the Paramatma Shakti. But basically, I wanted you to know there is a superior energy and there's an inferior energy. The inferior energy does not mean it is subordinate. It just is a terminology to say it manifests. And the superior energy are us, which are the Jiv Bhuta. So we know there is Mahabhut and the modifications of Mahabhut. that are forming the lower energy, and then there is the superior energy, which is the Jeev Bhut, Bhutgram, all these words that are used. Here it is using the word Purusha. Here it is using the word Kshetragya. That is us, superior energy. All right. So we were talking about Mahabhutanyankara Buddhi Avyagme cha Indriyai Dashakam cha Panchendriya Gochra. Let's look at the 24 divisions. There it was 8 divisions. Here it is 24. How did they convert the 8 into 24? They subclassified it. How did they subclassify? Let's look here. Mahabhutani. Okay, that 5 was covered there. Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham. 5. Okay. Ahankaro, Buddhi, Avyakt, Mevcha. 3 more. Ahankar, Buddhi, and Avyakt. Avyakt is the unmanifest Mahatattva that is giving rise to all the other things. And then there is Indriyani, Dashaikam, cha Panchendriya Gochra. Okay. Indriyani is the Indriya. Dashaikam. Dash and Ekam. Dash is 10, Ekam is 1. 10 plus 1, 11. Indriyani 11. Cha Panchendriya Gochra. Plus or Panch 5. Cha Indriya Gochra. The objects of sensual gratification, the Indriyartheshu, whatever the Indriya attaches to. So for instance, if there is the Indriya of vision, like eyes, they are the Indriya, sense organs of vision, then there has to be a vision, a sight, a beautiful thing to be watched. That is the Indriya Gochra, wherever you will attach your Indriya. So Indriya is accompanied by Indriyartheshu. That we all know. Eyes, vision. Nose, smell. Ears, hearing. Tongue, taste. Skin, touch. Those 5 Gyanendriya, creating 5 Indriyartheshu. Similarly, there is also 5 Karmendriya. They are also creating experiences. What is Indriya? Anything that creates experience for us. 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya. So those 5 Karmendriyas, we will talk about it, but those are not mentioned here, but they are also included in it. Indriyani Dashaikam cha Panchendriya Gochra includes, I'm sorry, they are included. Indriyani Dashaikam itself means 5 Karmendriyas and 5 Gyanendriyas. And 1 plus is mind. So 5 Karmendriyas kaun se hain? Pani, Pad, Padam. It is the organs of prehensile, which are holding, hands, feet for locomotion, and procreation. I'm sorry, organs of elimination, procreation, and vocation, which is speech. So what are the activities of Karmendriya? Karma itself means activity. Indriya is sense. So activities, senses, are those of holding, locomotion, ambulation, vocation, elimination, and procreation. So these will also appear as natural impulses in the body. The willingness to hold things, the willingness to walk. That's why lockdown, we don't like that. We are captured in the house. The willingness to vocate. Vipassana is so hard. Not talking. I will die if I don't talk for 2 days. So that's why we have to talk. We have to hold things. We have to walk. Also, we have to procreate. That is why the sensual urge, for primitive biological urge of procreation, like begets like, and need for sex, and elimination. Of course, if you are processing things, remaining active, consuming the Mahabhut, then the toxin wastes have to be eliminated. So those are the 5. Now you will say, why not eating? Because eating is a rasa, that is a Gyanendriya, whereas Karmendriya is different than the Gyanendriya. So that is the difference between Gyanendriya and Karmendriya. Okay, then let's see. So then after that, we will talk about some modifications of the Prakriti. Let's see. Iksha dvesh sukham dukham sanghatas chetna dhriti etat chetram samasen savikaram udahitam. Okay. Iksha and dvesh. When the Gyanendriya experiences the Gyan through the Indriyartheshu, it develops certain impressions. These impressions can be called emotions. These impressions can be perceived as observations with a identification. So we have a certain certain outlook based on our personalized experience, and that is called iksha and dvesh, likeliness and aversion, because um, that is how it is created based on the iksha and the dvesh. Okay, so iksha dvesh sukham sukham sanghatas chetna dhriti etat chetram samasen savikaram udahritam. um, इच्छा इच्छा द्वेष सुखम दुखम संघातस चेतना धीरे तत् क्षेत्रम समासेन सविकारम उदाहरितम. उन्होंने बताया कि सांख्य के जो 24 अंग हैं वो बताया. अच्छा, ध्यान देने की बात यहाँ पे ये है कि ये जो है ये मॉडिफिकेशन सविकार उदाहरितम इतत् क्षेत्रम समासेन, क्षेत्र का विकार बोल लीजिए. विकार मतलब डिफेक्ट भी होता है और विकार मतलब उस जमाने में मॉडिफिकेशन होता था. तो इसीलिए once we have calculated 24, let's go back and see how 24. 5 mahabhut, 5 gyanendriya, 5 karmendriya, 15, 5 indriyartheshu, 20, then man, buddhi, ahankar, mahatattva. Man is mind, buddhi is intellect, ahankar is ego, and mahatattva is what from the ego is forming. Mahaprana, mahatattva, whatever the primordial unmanifest prana shakti is, that gives rise to everything. That is the 24. That is Sankhya Yoga. However, I talk to you about the free will all the time. Free will, sankalp, shraddha. Where is that? All of that is coming from Sanghatas Chetna Dhriti. So I was telling you, the observation of the experience by the identified individual creates these emotions, good, bad, evil, hot, cold, because that's the sense perception. Gyan Indriya, when it experiences the Indriya, creates the Gyan. And this is the Gyan of hot and cold, whatever we call science today. Observation based inferences is science. Observation based inferences is Jnana for the sake of spirituality. Okay, so Iksha and Dvesh, likeness and aversion. Sukham and Dukham, that is happiness and sadness. Sanghatas Chetna Dhriti. Sanghatas is the aggregate. Chetna, we talked about consciousness, and Dhriti is grit, perseverance, Iksha Shakti. Etat Chetran Samasen Savikar Udahartam. All of these comprise modifications of the Prakriti, modifications of the Chetra, modifications of the field of activity, but they are also contained in the field of activity. So it is not us. Again, this will create confusion for a lot of us when we say Chetana. Chetana, what does the Chetana mean here? Chetana here means dharma, the consciousness that you are creating from dharma. The real word is Chet. Chet is conscious, and Dhriti is the perseverance, will, free will. So consciousness and free will are also elements that are arising from buddhi. So these are modifications of buddhi, and they are not us. Of course, they are the most connecting link that is there between the unmanifest and manifest. Because once you identify your dharma, you get some dhriti. I have to do this. I have observed something is unbalanced. I have to create the balance. That is why God comes here. Yada yada hi dharma se glanir bhavati bharata abhyudhanam adharma se tadatmanam se janyam. Whenever there is imbalance between dharma and adharma, I will take form in every yuga. Every yuga I will come once towards the end of the yuga to establish the balance. So that is the dhriti. When ईश्वर करे तो अवतार हो जाए और हम लोग करें तो जन्म हो जाए. तो धृति से ही हमारा भी जन्म हुआ है एक्सपीरियंस लेने के लिए. All right, so that is very important to understand that these are all the 24 things and their modifications that are creating prakriti or field, if you will. And then there is something called Atman or the Brahman that we will talk about. What is Gyan now? So what is Gyan? The definition of Gyan is given through some attributes. अमानित्वम अमदम्बित्वम अहिंसा शांति राजम आचार्योपासनम शौचम स्थैर्यमात्मनिग्रह इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम अहंकारे च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुग्धोषानुदर्शनम आसक्तिरनावेशमंगम पुत्रदार गृहादिषु नित्यम च समचितत्वम इष्ट निष्पत्तिषु मयि चनन्य योगेन भक्त व्यभिचारिणी विवेक देशी सेवितुम अर्ति जन संधि अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यम तत्व ज्ञानादर्शनम एतज ज्ञानम इति प्रोक्तम अज्ञानम यतो अन्यथा. Okay, we will take every single word and then just go ahead with it. These are just attributes. If you want to call it Sagun Brahman, then the Sagun Brahman has these attributes. These are the attributes of knowledge. These are the attributes of peace. These are attributes of God, love, whatever you want to call it. But these are attributes of unmanifest that create perfection. So these are the attributes that the Sanghatas Chetna, or the aggregate of consciousness and free will, should aim to create in us, because all of them restore the Sat, or the balance in the Brahman. Amanitvam, person who does not have pride, man samman, say shabd hai man, okay? So amanitvam. Adambhitvam. Now, most people, okay, I need a feedback here from people. Most people speak English, Hindi, or they understand both. I'm curious because I don't want to speak too much Hindi and confuse people. Any individuals who don't follow Hindi at all? And please raise your hand or just say something right now, because we don't want to keep speaking in language which people don't follow. If most people are from South, I just want to make sure. Everybody okay with Hindi? And everybody okay with English?
Bhaiya, I guess everyone understands both the languages, probably.
Okay,
That's
so
what I think.
my flow is okay. Half Hindi, half English. No issues there.
I guess so.
Okay.
I mean, with me it's so, but I guess with everyone, most of the people, I guess
I
they
know you are.
understand both.
I know you are from North, so you will not have problems. But I mean, I
Right.
knew that some people in South speak local languages more than Hindi.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure that. Okay, so I'm not hearing any stuff from anybody, so I think I am fine here.
I had a couple people respond in the chat, both okay. So at least
both okay. Okay.
3 people
because it's
responded.
easier to translate. Okay, that makes sense, because easier to translate word by word from Sanskrit to Hindi than to English, especially for this one. Because
this feedback is good. Somebody says flow is good. Any language is fine. So
perfect. Okay. Thank you for your response, guys. Okay, so let's understand. These are the characteristics of Sagun Brahman. These are the qualities we need to develop over time. Okay, amanitvam, मान सम्मान, जो ज्यादा मान सम्मान, रिस्पेक्ट. आपने मैं रिस्पेक्ट क्यों नहीं किया? मैं क्लास में घुसा, आप बच्चे लोग खड़े क्यों नहीं हुए? टीचर गुस्सा गया. ये अमानित्वम. तो मान सम्मान से फर्क नहीं है. Because you are the right conduct, why do you care how people respond? स्थित प्रज्ञा, again, no need for मान सम्मान. अमानित्वम अदम्भी, एक और स्टेप बढ़ गया जी, दम्भी. अपना दिखाने लगे कि oh, I am greater than other people. Show off, trying to do something and then show off. Doing some philanthropy and then putting pictures on Facebook or stuff like that. Anything that is a show off, broadcasting your greatness. That is, again, you are seeking attention. Sthit pragya, samdarshita, never seeks attention, never cares about the response, because it just believes in doing the right, intrinsically engineered. Amanitvam, मान सम्मान का फर्क नहीं. Adambhitvam, dambh, show off का फर्क नहीं. Ahimsa, no need for himsa or violence. Violence free, cannot hurt anybody because everything has chetana. Shanti Rajvam, okay, if it is ahimsa, then it is prone to shanti or peace. Shanti Arjavam is simplicity. So that's what it is. It doesn't have any show off. It doesn't have any dumb hypocrisy. It is very simple. So simplicity is the way you are outside, the way you are inside. So it's the way it looks is the way it acts. That is simplicity. Acharya Upasnam. Acharya is the God. Upasnam is the worship. So Guru is the God, or whoever you are following, you understand that they have the right knowledge to impart to you. So basically, belief in your Guru or the person you believe. Doesn't have to be a living person. Can be any of your people you are inspired by. Neem Karoli Baba, Ramana Maharishi, some Ish Devta can be your Guru. Anybody who is showing you the path, the conduit to the God is the Guru. Okay. So worshipper of Guru or Acharya. Shaucham is cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Stharyam Atma Vinigraha. Stharyam means stable. Not getting perturbed easily. Fear, anxiety, greed, all those intermittent states of agitation. Trividham Narkasyadam Dwaram Nashnavatmana Kama Krodhata Lobha Tasmadita. 3 doors to hell. Kam, Krodh and Lobh. Moha. Kam, Krodh, Moh. They lead you to hell, which is hell basically meaning the place where the papas are burned. Papa kaise rise karta hai? Kamesh, Krodhesh. So if you don't have kama, which is excessive desire, and krodh, frustration from the desire not meeting, then you are stharya. then you're sthit pragya. So that is thairyam. Atma vinigraha, self control. Atma is self, vinigraha is suppression, daman, nigraha, suppression, nigraha kim karishyati. So having control over the self, not necessarily meaning just bashing down the indriya, because of course if you try to suddenly control the senses, then the senses will rebound and create more problems. But it just means systematically, slowly, insidiously controlling yourself time, day over day. इंद्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम, देखिए इंद्रिया का निग्रह से अच्छा है इंद्रिय का वैराग्य. ये कॉन्सेप्ट समझना बहुत जरूरी है कि जो इंद्रिया हमारी हैं, ज्ञानेन्द्रिया, कर्मेंद्रिया, क्यों उन्होंने बोला कि कर्मेंद्रियाणि संयम, ये आस्ते मनसा स्मरण इंद्रियार्थान मूढ़ात्मा मिथ्याचार से उच्यते. जो कर्मेंद्रियों का दमन करेगा वो इंद्रियों से मूढ़ हो जाएगा और मिथ्याचारी है. मतलब अभी आप कुछ बोलेगा, कल कुछ करेगा, सिंप्लिसिटी नहीं है उसमें, शांति आर्जवम आर्जवम नहीं है ना. तो इसलिए इंद्रियार्थेषु का वैराग्य करना है, भगवान की तरफ भी अभ्यास करना है और इंद्रिय का वैराग्य करना है. अभ्यासेन तु कौन्ते वैराग्येन च गृह्यते. अभ्यास और वैराग्य दो मार्ग हैं आपके पास. द पैथ ऑफ रिलेंटलेस परसुएशन ऑफ गॉड and the path of constant criticism of the pleasures derived from the indriya. That way slowly will make the progress. So indriyartheshu vairagya, इंद्रियों का दमन करने की बजाय इंद्रियों का वैराग्य. What does that mean? इंद्रियों का वैराग्य means कि all the time when you are not eating, all the time that you're not using the indriya, that time should be spent in thinking about the useless futility of the indriya, because indriya is basically to protect us. If there is a roar of the lion, we have to protect and run away. If we see a lion, we run away. That is the basic instinct for the indriya in the hunter, food gatherer modality, prehistoric times. Now the indriyas have very limited use because we are not going to be killed by, hopefully, any adversary unless there's a mass shooting or something. So indriyas have very limited use. So now they have, when they are nothing to protect, they start enjoying pleasures, all the pleasures. So that creates gluttony, that creates the excessive libido, that creates stuff that is not going to be leading to the growth of the consciousness, sanghatas chetna. So that is why indriyartheshu vairagya, always detached from the indriya. That's why solitude works. When you're in solitude, there's not enough turbulence for the mind. So try to castigate, criticize the pleasure-seeking tendencies when you're not enjoying the tendency. Of course, when you're enjoying, you have to be in that modality. Whatever you're doing, focus on the activity. Food, love, whatever you are doing, you have to do 100%. And the rest of the time, you're trying to castigate it so that the duration and the frequency of the indriya bhog is slowly going down. So indriyartheshu vairagya ahankarecho, abdicating both the senses and the ego, because both of them create muddha, ichha, raga, sanga, muddha. Too much of desire creates passion. Too much of passion creates attachment. And attachment, once you have, you will not be able to distinguish right and wrong. Hence the delusion, the ignorance. Asakti anabhishvangam. Again, asakti, not having attachment. Anabhishvangam, not having too much hankering, craving, wishful thinking. Putradar grihadishu. So having unattachment and non-hankering for having a son, having a wife. Putra is kids, Dara is your spouse, wife, and Griha Dishu. Griha is home. So not Vivek Deshi Sevitum, we said, like not be attached to one place. So not be attached to your kids, your wife, spouse, family members, and the house also, because people will get attached to the house if they live in the house long enough. So those are the things that we have to having asakti. That is why not putting too much efforts in getting these things of material world. Nityam cha samchitatvam isht nisht upaptishu. Nityam cha samchitatvam. The chitta or the consciousness is unperturbed, whether you are doing isht or anisht. Isht is pious, anisht is the work that is not pious. So any activity you do or see, you should not get tainted with ichha and dvesh based on those activity results. Mai cha ananya yogen bhakta vyabhicharni. Again, it's the word is ananya yogen, ananya cheta, ananya bhakti. These are the words. Ananya means what? Ani anya, not anything else. What is it? Exclusive devotion, exclusivity. God wants all our attention. Mai cha ananya yogen, मैं ही, मेरे पे ही अनन्य योग, योग मेरे यानी यूनियन ओनली विथ मी, योग इज यूनियन, सो एक्सक्लूसिव यूनियन विथ मी, भक्त अव्यभिचारिणी. Avyabhicharani means without any interruption. So do my devotion exclusively without any interruption, what we call ananya cheta ananya bhakti. और जब अनन्य चेत अनन्य भक्ति होती है तो ज्ञान आता है, न ज्ञाने न चिरणाधि गच्छति, जैसे ही ज्ञान आएगा झट से आपको ईश्वर में लीन हो जाएंगे आप. हमने क्या सीखा था उस दिन? संकल्प से श्रद्धा बनने में बहुत टाइम लगता है, श्रद्धा से ज्ञान आने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है, और ज्ञान से निर्वाण आने में तो कोई टाइम नहीं लगता है. न चिरणाधि गच्छति, नो, विदाउट डिले, इमीडिएटली. तो इसीलिए स्टार्टिंग प्रॉब्लम, बिग प्रॉब्लम. सबसे ज्यादा समस्या होती है जब हम कोई नया काम स्टार्ट करते हैं, श्रद्धा, ईश्वर भाव, भक्ति. शुरू में ड्यूरेशन याद है आपको? ड्यूरेशन, पीरियोडिसिटी क्रिएट्स इंटेंसिटी, इंटेंसिटी क्रिएट्स भाव, भाव क्रिएट्स भक्ति, भक्ति क्रिएट्स निष्काम कर्म, निष्काम कर्म क्रिएट्स ध्यान योग, ध्यान योग क्रिएट्स ज्ञान, ज्ञान से हो गया गुणातीत, गुणातीत से हो गया निर्वाण. तो वो सारे लास्ट के स्टेप जल्दी जल्दी भागते जाते हैं. पहले के स्टेप जो है, थोड़ा देर भगवान में बैठिए, 5 मिनट सत्संग करिए रोज, वो थोड़ा बहुत एफर्टफुल होगा शुरू में, लेकिन धीरे धीरे एफर्टलेस हो जाएगा. जैसे आज आप 6-7वें दिन आ रहे हैं सत्संग करने, तो दिस विल बिकम मच इजियर बिकॉज यू आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड सम ऑफ द कॉन्सेप्ट्स. वंस वी स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड आइडेंटिफाइंग विद द कॉन्सेप्ट्स, ऑफ कोर्स इट बिकम्स इजियर, इट बिकम्स एफर्टलेस. तो इसीलिए आत्मज्ञान नित्यम च समचेतम इष्टनिष्वप्तिषु मयि चनन योगिन भक्त व्यभिचारिणी, ओनली वन पॉइंटेड डिवोशन, नॉट व्यवसायत्मिक का बुद्धि रेखे कुरुनंदन, नॉट मल्टीफोल्ड इंटेंशंस, सिंगल मोनोलिथिक वन पॉइंट इंटेंशन इन मी, मयि चनन योगिन. किसी और से योग ना करो, किसी और से मत जुड़ो, केवल मुझ में ही जुड़ो और मेरे भक्त बनो. डिवोट, सरेंडर एंड डिवोट, दैट इज भक्ति योग. भाव इज जनरेटिंग. विविक्त देशी सेवितो मार्ति जन संसदि. Vivikt deshi, which means desha is place, vivikt is solitary. So solitary, that's just like we talked about, solitude helps create a lot of good samskaras and dissolve the bad vrittis, because there's not much you can do. Gyanendriya does not have indriyartheshu to attach to. Karmendriya does not have indriyartheshu to attach to. So that's why Vivik Deshi or solitary place is going to be helpful. So try to, and Arthi Jan Sansdi, avoiding big crowds, gossip centers. We are not going there. So that is why some time in solitude, which basically could mean waking up early in the morning and doing dhyan for 10 minutes when the kids are still sleeping, family members are still sleeping. So that is also, you don't have to go somewhere and leave your house. Just to create some solitude even while you are with the people. Ananya Chetananda Bhakti, always thinking of God. Etad Jnanamiti, अध्यात्म ज्ञान नित्यत्वम तत्व ज्ञानार्दर्शनम. तो आपने जब सॉलिट्यूड में रुमिनेट किया अध्यात्म के बारे में, अधि आत्म, above and beyond the self. So that happens through introspection. Going above the self means going into the realm of Paramatman. The raindrop starts thinking about meeting the ocean and not about its stature of leaving the clouds. Oh, I'll break away from the clouds. No, don't think about breaking away from the clouds. Think about merging in the ocean. Don't think about leaving the samsara. Think about meeting the Paramatman. So that is what we have to focus on. What we focus on is what we will attain. Whatever your thoughts are at the time of dying, that's where you will manifest in your next life or afterlife. Adhyatma gyan nitvam tattva jnanar darshanam itaj jnanamiti proktam ajnanam yato anyatha. The gyan of Atma, Atma Gyan, which we call the self-awareness, Nityatvam, doing it daily, contemplating, ruminating on the self daily, that will help us understand all these tattvas, the 24 tattvas, the philosophy of Sankhya Darshan. And Etaj Jnanamiti, this is all Gyan, all the terms that he used, Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Shanti Rajvam, all those terms that he used, all those 5 verses are reflective of Gyan, and anything that is outside this is Agyan. Anything that is outside the beam of ray is darkness. Anything that is in the beam of ray is light. So that is why Gyan is composing all these traits. You can think of them as traits of Sagun Brahman. Gyayam yadat pravakshami yajgyatva amritam ashrute anadi mat param brahmana satanya saduchyate. Now I shall reveal to you what is to be known, or the real Gyan. And after attaining the real Gyan, you will never come back into the Brahma. I'm sorry, you will merge into the Brahma, never to come back into the lok of the samsara. So you'll go beyond the realms of existence and non-existence. Okay, now starts the description of Brahman. When I say Brahman, you have to think about the unmanifest perfection, the unmanifest realm that exists even after the manifest samsara is dissolved and disappeared. Then when they talk about 1,000 yugas of manifestation, 1 day of Brahma, and then 1,000 yugas of dormancy, 1 night of Brahma, what is beyond this dormancy and activity is Brahma. And that is what he's describing here. Sarvata pani padam, sarvata aksharo mukham, sarvata shruti malloke, sarvamitya tishtati. Sarvata pani padam. What it means is his pani is hands, pad is the legs. So his hands and feet, his mouth, his eyes are everywhere. What is he describing here? Think about it again. Sarvata pani padam. Pani, karmendriya. Padam, karmendriya. Akshi, witnessing. Shira is the head and mukha is the face. मुख से दोनों हो सकता है, ज्ञानेंद्रिय भी हो सकती है अगर टेस्ट ऑफ रसा है, और कर्मेंद्रिय भी हो सकती है अगर टेस्ट ऑफ इफ द एफर्ट ऑफ वोकेशन है. So basically he is talking that all the Gyanendriyas, all the Karmendriyas are contained in the Brahman. Sarvata Shruti Malloke Sarvamitya Tishtati. Sarvata Shruti Malloke. Again, the Gyanendriya of hearing. He is able to hear everything. And Sarvamitya Tishtati, he is situated, seated everywhere. Everywhere, every desha, every kala, Brahman is there, comprising of all the Karmendriyas, all the Gyanendriyas, all the time, everywhere. That is Brahman. Sarvendriya Gunabhasam. Okay, the first sloka told you about the coverage of Gyanendriya, Karmendriya. Now comes the Gunas. Sarvendriya Gunabhasam, Sarvendriya Vivarjitam, Asaktam Sarvbhirchav, Nirgunam Gun Bhoktricha. So he is able to enjoy the gunas despite not being controlled by the gunas. When we enjoy the gunas, we become controlled by it. That's how we operate. We improve or devolve using the gunas, which are the influencing associations. Whatever environment, whatever company we come in contact with, we will behave and act accordingly. So human beings are very predictable nature. Even animals are very predictable. Anything in the Mahabhut, Jeev Bhut, life, biological life is predictable behavior. When it does not have predictable behavior, then it is moving towards Brahman. So that is the quality of Brahman. Bahirantash bhutanam char mevcha sukshmtva tad vigyam duratham chantike chatat. Bahirantash, bahir, bahar, anta means andar. So outside and inside, he is present both outside and inside. And bhutanam, I told you, bhuta, just whenever you see the word bhuta, remember embodied. Whether it is Bhut Pret, which is embodied with Sukshma Sharir, or Jeev Bhuts like us, which are embodied with a Sthul Sharir. We are still Bhuta, which is embodied. What is embodied? The soul is embodied. Embodied in the Sukshma Sharir becomes Bhut Pret. Embodied in the Sukshma Sharir plus Sthul Sharir becomes Jeev Bhuta, like you and me right now, biological life. So Bahirantas, outside and inside, the embodied souls, Char achar mevcha, whether able to walk or not, pani padam, whether able to walk or not, inside and outside, it's present. That is Brahman. Sukshmatvad tad vigyayam durastham chantike cha tat. Sukshmatvad, sukshma is minute. Tad vigyayam, durastham chantike cha tat. Very far, yet chantike is very close. Now, what is very important here, he did not say Brahman is very massive. He said Sukshmatvad avigyayam. If you look at the words here, it says Sukshmat is due to subtlety and avigyanam is incomprehensible. Of course, incomprehensible, because half the world denies the presence of soul or God. So that's why it is incomprehensible, hard to grasp. Only certain samskaras will bring you in contact with God. Okay, so Sukshmatvad. He does not say I'm very massive, because the moment he says he is massive, he becomes Prakriti. Prakriti is massive. For the Brahman, it has to be incomprehensible, omniscient, Hence, it is sukshma, very subtle, microscopic, nanoscopic, extremely small, extremely fragmented to the point you cannot divide it anymore. That is why he does not say massive, he says sukshma. He doesn't say sthultvad, vigyam. Sukshmatvad, very minute. By the minuteness of it, just like air, it can diffuse anywhere. It can be present all the times everywhere. And it can monitor everybody, all the bhutas. So again, I am present inside and outside the bhutas in things that are walking or immovable. I am extremely small. I am extremely small and indivisible. I am extremely far, yet I am very close. He gives all the anomalies inside, outside, movable, immovable, far and near. But it doesn't say subtle and gross. He says subtle and subtler because he has to pervade everything. अविभक्तम देखिए जी, फिर से सूक्ष्मत्वाद इतने हैं, इट इज सो माइन्यूट दैट इट कैन नॉट बी डिवाइडेड एनीमोर. अविभक्त, विभक्त मीन्स डिविजन. You cannot divide it anymore. It is so minute. When someone becomes humble and small, they become graceful. They become like Brahman because they have such a sukshma, they're such flow. They are not stubborn like the rocks or the hill, massive things. Avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhakmyu cha sthiram bhutbharti cha tajgyam grasishnu pravishnu cha. Avibhaktam, undivisible, indivisible. Cha bhuteshu, inside. Bhuta is again embodied. Bhuteshu is inside the bhuta. That is all so small and subtle that is inside the bhuteshu. And seems divisible, seems to be present in all the bhutas. So it is so small and subtle that it has pervaded all the bhutas, just like air has pervaded all the space. Bhoot Bharti cha Tajgayam Grasishnu Prabhishnu cha. Bhoot Bharti is the permitter supporter. Tajgayam, know me, Grasishnu and Prabhavishnu. Grasishnu is creator and Prabhavishnu. Grasishnu is the annihilator, destroyer, and Prabhavishnu is the Brahma, creator. So all the three forms, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, are contained in the Brahman. He is the Bhoot Bharti, which is the Vishnu. He is the Grashishnu, which is the Shiva. He is the Prabhavishnu, is the Brahma. So Brahman contains all three forms of Ishtadevtas. Jyotishamapi tajyotis tamsa parmuchyate jnanam geyam jnan gamyam hridi sarvasva vishtitam. He is the light of all lights. Just like a sunlight is able to illumine the solar system, every single particle, the indivisible avivaktam bhuteshu, the indivisible sukshmtat tad vigyam, the small, minutesimal, infinitesimally small particle that is present in the body lightens up the body. What does that mean? Lighten up the body. Lighten up the body means like the pacemaker runs the heart. When the Jeev Bhuta is present in the body is living, biologically filled with prana. So it has all the things of rhythmicity, pulsatility, movability, brightness, anything that shows that it is teeming with life, as we call it. So that is why when the Atma and the Paramatma leave, the body will die. Otherwise, the body is alive. Alive in our sense, our mortal coil is alive. Shukshma Sharir and Sthul Sharir are stuck together with the help of prana. All right. He is the source of all lights in the luminaries. He is entirely beyond the darkness of ignorance. He is the knowledge, object of knowledge, goal of knowledge. He dwells within the heart of all living beings. Hridaya sarvasya vishtitam. Hridaya is heart. Sarvasya is everybody. Vishtitam is situated, or tishtati is situated, sitting. So he is the knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the goal of knowledge. That gets into the Sankhya philosophy again. What is the difference between knowledge and the goal of the knowledge, the object of the knowledge? But basically, in simple words, Brahman is what is to be known, and it is also the knowledge itself. Just like he says, I am the sacrificial pyre, I am the fire, I am the clarified butter, I am the offering, I am the sacrifice, I am the enjoyer of the sacrifice. Same knowledge. I am the object of knowledge, I am the destination to the knowledge, and I am the knowledge. Everything is contained within the unmanifest Brahman. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam gyeyam choktam samasata madbhakta etad vigyay madbhav upadyate. Thus, I have told you all the secrets of the Brahman and the 24 sectored Sankhya Yoga Tattvas, the Shrishti, the Samsara, the Kshetra and the Kshetragya details I have provided to you. Once you understand this Kshetra and Kshatragya concept, you will never be deluded and you will attain my nature. In my nature attainment, you will attain me. That is why understanding what you are not as the Prakriti is important to understand the Brahman. Prakritim Purusham Chav Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaransh Guransh Chav Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Prakritim Purusham Chav Vidyanadi Vidhi Anadi. Know both the Prakriti or the material world and Purusha, the witnesser, to be immortal, and know them to be beginningless. Immortal in the sense it's cyclical. Does a circle have a beginning and an end? No, because time itself is a parameter that has been infused into Prakriti. First, there was formation of Mahatattva, leading to the formation of mind. The mind created desire, and also the Ahamkara created Buddhi or observation. So once there is a desire, if you're too drunk in the desire, time will fly by. अरे पता नहीं चला 4 घंटे हमने तो टीवी देख ली, 4 घंटे कुछ काम कर लिए, पता नहीं चला, गहरी नींद में सो गए, पता नहीं चला. So when you're totally immersed in an activity or experience, time flies by. You lose track of time. Similarly, if you have too much of awareness, you have good track of time. So time itself is a parameter of intelligence, and intelligence of Buddhi itself arises from Ahamkara, Manas, Buddhi. So that is why time itself, it is beyond time. Both Prakriti and Purusha are beginningless. Frame of time, the rules of time, quantum mechanics don't work. All right. Vikaransh Guransh Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. The Vikaransh Guransh, it is comprised of Vikar. Vikar can be defect or Vikar can be modification. And Guransh is Gunas, all the Gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, the material modes of nature or influencing associations, whatever you want to call it. Those are the modus operandi of Prakriti. Kare Karan Kartitve Hetu Prakriti Ruchyate, Purusha Sukh Dukhanam Bhoktitve Hetu Ruchyate. When people ask, why am I in this world? Why am I suffering or enjoying? This is why we are suffering and enjoying. Karya Karan Kartitve. In terms of Karya and Karan, Karya is the activity, Karan is the cause. There is a cause, there is an activity, and then there's perception of activity, which we call consequence. So in terms of the cause and activity, the Prakriti is responsible for creating cause and activity. But Purusha Sukh Dukhana, the effect that is created, whether you perceive it as Iksha Dvesh, Sukham Dukham Sanghatas Chetna Dhriti, to wahi bol raha, Iksha Desh, like, dislike, oh, I was happy with this outcome, sad with this outcome. That outcome perception is from the Purusha, but the outcome itself is coming from Prakriti. Activity unfolds in Prakriti. The effect of the activity, what we call consequence, what it makes us feel emotionally, because we are sentient beings, that is coming from the Purusha. Not the Param Purush. Param Purush mein nahi aata hai, Purush mein aata hai. Matlab individual souls are going to experience the happiness and distress from the unfolding of the activity, from coming in contact with certain gunas. Purusha Prakriti Astho hi bhungte Prakriti Jan Guran Karanam Gun Sango se Sad Asad Yoni Janmashu. पुरुष और प्रकृति के सम्मिश्रण से ही आपके एक्सपीरियंसेस आते हैं. भोक्ता मीन्स एक्सपीरियंस. भोक्ता कैन ऑल्सो मीन भोक्ता, एंजॉयर, और भोग और भुक्ता एज अ सफरर, because the experience can be both good and bad. You can enjoy or be miserable after the experience, but the experience will unfold as quickly as an outcome or activity has been generated from the combination of the gunas. Circle agar ghumta reh raha hai, so different people are kind of coming in its path and experiencing the effects of the seasons, effect of the cycles, effect of the doshas. So that's why they are experiencer. So Karanam Guna Sango Asya, this attachment to the gunas is responsible for birth in Sad Asad Yonishu, in the higher and the lower, the good and the bad yonis, in higher and lower, superior, inferior, whatever you want to call it. Superior when it is going for activation of the Chetana, and inferior when it is going for activation of the Indriya. If you want to experience a lot of strong senses, then the Paramatma will make us animals. We will make us like bears, which can smell the honey so strongly, or like the bees, which can see beyond the ultraviolet light, or make us like the dolphins, which can perceive infrared sonic waves. So senses, what are animals? Animals are super sensual. They have extreme strong senses. Perception is very heightened in the animals. Human beings, not so much. Vision is very limited, not like a eagle's vision. You can see from the kites can see down. Even the hearing is very poor. You cannot hear very much, intentionally or unintentionally. Similarly, smell is very poor. Animals have much heightened sense of smell, dogs, and they can sense the earthquakes. So what does that mean? Heightened indriya, animal. Heightened sentience, human. So karanam gun sangosya sadasad yonishu, the attachment to the gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas, mostly the rajas and tamas, and attachment to the gunas leads to birth in higher and lower yonis. When the प्रकृति में पुरुष घुसता है, एक्सपीरियंस करता है तो उसको सुख और दुख होता है. उस सुख और दुख से अटैचमेंट के कारण संस्कार बनते हैं. उन संस्कार के अनुसार उसका सद असद योनि में फिर से जन्म होता है. परमात्मा के क्या क्वालिटीज हैं? आपको मैंने बताया था कि आत्मा के दो क्वालिटीज हैं, दृष्टा और भोक्ता, विटनेसर एंड एंजॉयर. परमात्मा के 5 क्वालिटीज होती हैं. परमात्मा इज उपद्रष्टा, अनुमंता, भर्ता, भोक्ता, महेश्वरा. उपद्रष्टा, विटनेसर इन चीफ. आप विटनेसर हैं, ये आपके बाप हैं. विटनेसर इन चीफ, सबका दृष्टा, सबके ऊपर दृष्टि डाली. अनुमंता, अनुमंता मतलब परमिशन दे दीजिए, मुझे ये करना है, परमिशन देते हैं. ओके, परमिशन मीन्स यू वांट टू डू समथिंग, वेदर दैट विल फ्रुक्टिफाई और नॉट. अच्छा, अनुमंता भर्ता भी है. भर्ता मतलब सपोर्टर, sustainer, Vishnu. So when you are lacking something, he will give you some more Ichha Shakti. And when you have some Ichha Shakti, he is allowing certain things to unfold in Prakriti, manifest activities. So did you see? He is not only filling you with encouragement. When you have the encouragement, he is giving you the free will and the perseverance to stick with it to manifest what you want to achieve. Updrashta Anumanta, witnesser, Anumanta, permitter, bharta, supporter, bhokta, enjoyer. We think we are enjoying? No, the Paramatma is enjoying within us as well. We think we are suffering? No, the Paramatma is also suffering with you when you do too much tapas, when you do too much of any of the Tanam, Dushta, Kruran, Sansareshu, Naradman, Ahankar, Baladnapam, Kam, Kocha, Sanchitra, Mamatma, Pardeheshu, Pradishanto, Besuyaka, अहंकार, बल, तर्क, काम, क्रोध से तुम मुझको भी तड़पा रहे हो अपने शरीर में. इसीलिए वो भोक्ता है. ही इज ऑल्सो द एंजॉयर, ही इज ऑल्सो द सफरर, हमारे साथी. और महेश्वर, ईश्वर में महेश्वर, सुप्रीम कंट्रोलर. सो 5 एलिमेंट्स ऑफ गॉड आर उपद्रष्टा, अनुमंता, भर्ता, भोक्ता, महेश्वरा. गॉड इज द अल्टीमेट विटनेसर, परमिटर, प्रमोटर और सपोर्टर, एंजॉयर एंड कंट्रोलर. अति करोगे तो फिर तानाम, दुष्टा, क्रूरान, संसारेषु नराधमन, नीचे वाली योनि में भेजना पड़ेगा बेटा. परमात्मेति चापयुक्तो देहेस्मिन् पुरुषः पर. परमात्मा, परमात्मा, ये परमात्मा ही देहेस्मिन् पुरुषः पर, हर एक देह में पुरुष के मौजूद है. तो शरीर के अंदर क्या है जी? हृदय में क्या है? आत्मा का वास है, परमात्मा का वास है. सूक्ष्म तो आद हैं दोनों, दोनों ही बहुत ही सूक्ष्म है, दोनों ही बहुत जल्दी ही मूव कर सकते हैं. कंटेंट इन द प्राणा वेसल. या एवं व्यक्ति पुरुषम प्रकृति च गुण सर्वथा वर्तमानोपि न स भूयो अभिजायते. सर्वथा वर्तमानोपि, ऑलवेज सिचुएटेड इन द वर्तमान, ऑलवेज सिचुएटेड इन प्रेजेंट, ऑलवेज थिंकिंग ऑफ वन फोकस माइंड. न स भूयो अभिजायते. न स मीन्स सोल, भूयो मीन्स भू और पृथ्वी, अर्थ, abhijayate means germinate. Will not, the soul will not germinate on earth to take a body if he understands. Vetti is to understand Purusha and Prakriti and the gunas, which are the cycle of the Purusha and the Prakriti. So one who understands these secrets of Purush, Prakriti, gunas, that soul will never be born again on earth like a bhuta. Can come as nitya mukta, but will not come as a bhuta, embodied soul. ध्यानेन आत्मनि पश्यन्ति केचित् आत्मानम् आत्मनान्य सांख्येन योगेन कर्म योगेन चापरे. Some try to perceive the soul through dhyana. Let's try to capture the God. Sparshan kritva bahirbayan chakshushavantare bhruvo pranapana samakruta nasa abhyantar charno. Try to hold the God in a vision between the eyebrows while holding your breath in prana and apan. Either at the tip of the nose you situate your vision, close your eyes, situate the vision between the eyebrows and the glabella, the forehead. Try to have a vision of each devata. What is that? That is dhyan. Dhyanenatmi pashyanti. Pashya is seeing. So seeing the God in dhyana, some people try to capture the Paramatma. Anya people do it through discourses of the Sankhya Yoga. All these differences. What is Prakriti, Purush, Kshetra, Kshetragya, all through discursive actions like Shankaracharya. Anya Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga and Chapre. Still another people. Some people will do community service, Langar, all these things, Nishkam Karma. They are Karma Yogis. All these are the paths, different paths. Also, people, Anyatoyam Shutmana Upaste Tepi Chauti Tarantite Mityum Shutti Parayana, other than Dhyana, Sankhya, Nishkam Karma, also through listening, whether listening through satsang, kirtan, or chanting, even through listening to the concepts of Prakriti and Purush, understanding them through repetitions, they can cross this samsara of ocean of samsara. Te cha ati taranti tev, they can also cross. Ati taranti matlab तैर के पार हो गए, cross the river. कौन सा river? कौन सा ocean? मृत्यु संसार. The ocean of the samsara they can cross by Shruti Parayana. Shruti means listening, Parayana means with devotion, and Parayana can also mean upliftment. So basically, by listening to the song of God, Bhagavad Gita, Gita is song, Bhagavad is song, God. So the song of the God, by listening to the song of the God, they can cross because they are germinating what? Sankalpa and Shraddha. So they are generating bhav eventually. यावत् संजायते किंचित सत्वम स्थावर जंगमम क्षेत्र क्षेत्रगे संयोगिता एतद् विद्धि भरतृषभ. जो भी देखते हो, यावत् संजायते is the combination, स्थावर जंगमम, whether moving or immovable, even the things lostrashram kanchana, whether it is a pebble, a stone, an elephant, a cow, a human, whatever you are seeing has some drishti. Why? Because everything is a combination of the Purush and the Prakriti, the Kshetra and the Kshetragya, the field and the knower of the field. Doesn't have to move. Even a pebble, पूजो तो पत्थर में भगवान, क्यों? उसमें भी जीव शक्ति है. जैनिज्म का फंडा कि सब में कॉन्शियसनेस है. Doesn't have to be a biological living being. Even a stone has consciousness. So Yavat Sanjayate, whatever is manifested in this Prakriti, because Mahabhuts are also manifesting in the Prakriti. Sthar var jangmam. Sthar means sthit, stable, unmoving, or janga, which is things which are moving. They are a combination of Prakriti and Purush. They are a combination of Atman, Aj, Aj, Aja. They are a combination of three things actually. Aj, Aj, Aja. Aj is Atma, Aj is Paramatma, Aja is Prakriti. So we have to be respectful towards everything. Humility, that is consciousness. Sam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtam parmeshwaram vinashyantu aveshyantam sa pashyati. Even when the material Prakriti ceases, of course I said it is immortal, but it ceases, goes in dormancy. Just like when we die, we go in dormancy until the cycle continues to form a new body. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtam parmeshwaram. Harek bhuta mein, bhut is embodied soul. Sarveshu means every embodied soul, I am sitting as Parmeshwar. Vinashyatsu wa vinashyantam. When everything is destroyed, then also it remains undestroyed, undisturbed. Yah pashyati sa pashyati. Pashya is seeing. Who sees it this way is seeing it the right way. So when everything seems to be destroyed in the biological body, the sthul sharir, the Panch Mahabhut ki body, still the thing that is not destroyed, Atman and Paramatman, remains unchanged, unperturbed. You are the same soul when you are 2 years old versus 20 years old or 50. That characteristic of unchanging, unmanifest soul in perfection, Atman, who sees, is seeing the right truth. Atma and Paramatma do not change. Their affections, their afflictions, their embodiment changes, but their kernel remains unchanged. Antahkaran.
कभी भी चेंज नहीं होता है। सम पश्यन्नि सर्वतः समस्तिम ईश्वरम न हिंसति आत्मानात्मनं ततो याति पराम गतिम। समम पश्यन्नि, समम means equality, equanimity, balance, sattva, seeing every individual being with samlostashram kanchana, samdarshita, seeing them as equal. Why equal? Because all of them have Paramatma. They might have a small form, they might not have a lot of stature in the world, but they also carry the moiety of the Paramatma. And Atma, like us, they are sisters and brothers, and then they have that daddy, Paramatma. So, na hinsati atma anatman tato yati paramgatim will never cause violence. Violence in the form of emotional hurting or physical hurting, injury, any sort of injury. That is why vegetarianism is propagated in Gita. You cannot injure anything unknowingly because consciousness is still there. Prakritiya cha karmani kriyamani sarvasha ya pashyati tha atman kartaram sa pashyati. Those who truly understand all actions of the body as performed by the nature. Prakriti av, prakriti hi, प्रकृति में, प्रकृति ही करती है सारे कर्म, सर्वशः सारे कर्म प्रकृति ही करती है। यह पश्यति, जो ऐसा देखता है, तथा आत्मानं कर्तारं स पश्यति, वो आत्मा को सही रूप में देखता है कि प्रकृति ही सब कुछ कर रही है, पर वो उसको धारण किए हुए है। प्रकृतिया क्रियमाणी कर्ता अहंकार आत्मा कर्ताहम् इति मन्यते। प्रकृतिया च कर्माणि सर्वशः, प्रकृति ही सारे कर्म करती है। अहंकार वूण आत्मा, अहंकार से जो पॉल्यूटेड आत्मा है वो अपने को कर्ता मान बैठता है। दृष्टा हैज बिकम करप्टेड। प्रकृतिया च कर्माणि क्रियमाणि सर्वशः, प्रकृति ही सारे कर्म करती है। 327 में भी यही श्लोक था। यदा भूत पृथक भावम एकस्थम अनुपश्यति तदेव च विस्तारम ब्रह्म संपद्यते तदा। यदा भूत पृथक भावम, जो सारी डाइवर्सिटी, भूत पृथक, भूत क्या है जी? अलग अलग, किसी में एनिमल, किसी में ह्यूमन, किसी में प्लांट, वनस्पति, ये जो भी है सारे भूत हैं, सारी कॉन्शियसनेस पार्टिकल्स हैं। वो पृथक भाव मतलब डिफरेंट है, डाइवर्सिटी है, डाइवर्सिटी, बायोडाइवर्सिटी। जो सारी बायोडाइवर्सिटी में भी यूनिटी देखता है। यदा भूत पृथक भाव में एकस्थम अनुपश्यति, एक रूप देखता है। ततएव च विस्तारम ब्रह्म पद्यते सदा, वो सारे विस्तार, द डाइवर्सिटी एंड द ब्रेड्थ ऑफ द ब्राह्मण इज सीइंग एज द यूनिटी, द सिंगल परमात्मा। सो रिस्पेक्ट and understand the diversity and don't harm the diversity in any intentional way, no intentional harm. Anaditvat anirgunatvat paramatma ayam avvaya. 3 more qualities of Brahman. Anaditvat, anadi means beyond time. Why? Because ahankara is first, buddhi is there, and then time comes. Intelligence is required for starting the clock. Observation is required for capturing the observation. Observer is required. So anaditvat, it is beyond creation, it is beyond anadi, beyond time. Anirgunatvat, it is beyond characteristics or attributes that the ahamkara identifies with. Beyond time, beyond guna. Anaditvat, anirgunatvat, paramatma ayam avvaya. Avvaya means, vaya means kharcha, avvaya जिसको आप खर्च करके भी खत्म ना हो. So it is inexhaustible. It is never ending, eternal. So anaditvat, anirgunatvat, and avvaya. Without beginless, no time frames, no attributes, and eternal. Sharirasthopi kante, situated in the dehismin, situated in the sharirasthopi, in the body. Na karoti na lipyate. It never does anything. When we talk that Prakriti does everything, Atma doesn't do anything. The attributes that the Atman collects from the Prakriti, that makes it suffer or enjoy. Atman doesn't do anything. So although it is situated in the Sharir, Sukshma and the Sthul Sharir, it is not the doer. And since it is not the doer, it remains untainted because it is beginningless, it is attributeless, and it is eternal. How does that compare? Just the comparison of the space and air. Yatha sargatam sakshamya dakasham noplipete sarvatrasyo dehe tatha atma noplipete. Yatha sargatam sakshamya dakasham. Just like the air, no matter where the air goes, there will be space. We know that there is air, atmosphere. Above that, there is space. Different planets, between the planets, there is no air. Kham, akash, ether. So that is always there even when air is not there. As you know, air is densest close to the earth, and as we go upper and upper, oxygen also falls and the air concentration dies. Rarefied stratosphere, ionosphere, rarefied. What is rarefied? Air ka jo concentration of molecules is also dissipating until it becomes space from 1 to 0. When it becomes 0, it becomes space. So, yatha sarvatam sakshamyad akasham noplipate, just like the space is not contaminated by the presence of air, Atman is not contaminated by the activities of the Sukshma Sharir and the Sthul Sharir. Atman is never tainted. Atman remains pure, unmanifest. Yatha prakashyate kritasnam lokam evam ravi kshetram cheti tatha kritasnam prakashyati bharata. Just like one sun enlightens the whole solar system, this one body is enlightened by this sparkle moiety called Atman, with which the recorder, the Paramatman, is sitting. But Atman and Paramatman always go together. The kid, infant, is always accompanied by the mom. You will never find the infant alone. Always the mom is around. हमेशा एक निगाह बच्चे पे रहती है, क्रेडल में हो या बाहर हो. तो इसीलिए the Paramatman is always accompanying the Atman because it has to collect it and take it back. मस्ती मारने आ रहे हैं, मेला में घूम रहे हैं, घूम लो, लास्ट में घर जाना ही है. इसीलिए उसको साथ में ही रहना है. You cannot have Atman and Atman separate because the recorder is always there with the activator. So yatha prakashate kritasnam lokam ravi kshetram cheti tatha kritasnam prakashati bharata. Just like the sun lightens up the solar system, the kshetra and kshetri, which is the jeev bhoot and the prakriti, are enlightened by the Paramatma. Kshetra kshetragyor evam antaram gyan chakshusa bhoot prakriti moksham chaya vidurvanti te param. The person who understands gyan chakshu, that is the light of knowledge, a person who understands these differences and the meaning of Kshetra and Kshetragya, the field and the knower of the field, he is capable of overcoming the samsara, attaining moksha, and that person becomes Vidur. Vidur means the knowledgeable person. So that person becomes Vidur and is capable of attaining salvation, nirvana. So again, my friends, very important chapter. It builds on the knowledge of Sankhya Yoga in earlier chapters, chapter 2 and chapter 7 especially. So worth reading again and again. Very, very good shlokas. A lot of answers that we collect. All right, let's open to questions. All right, any questions? Umaji, were you able to record that stuff? All of it?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, perfect. All right, I'm not hearing any questions from anybody, which is good. I'm glad a lot of people were able to join us today. So if there are no questions, we will wrap up the session. And I will see you guys again tomorrow, same time. Tomorrow we will do chapter 14, which is even interesting. Very similar along the lines. So we will do that chapter tomorrow. I'm sorry, any questions?
Yeah, Tapasji, in the middle you were talking about, talking about the initial sadhanas that get accelerated. And so the difficulty from the initial steps is tough, and then as we go further, they accelerate faster and so on.
Yes, yes.
Maybe I can revisit the recording to see the flow chart, or if you could repeat for us.
Oh, like the sequence of the steps that happen in attainment of God. Okay. So I don't know where the flow chart is. Maybe I should create one. But basically, we were talking about this in the earlier sections too. Starting problem, big problem. So the sequence, of course, is starting from duration. So first thing that ashraddhana, agyan, when there is no shraddha, faith, when there is no samskar, what is going to save us? The first step is duration, which means we have to give some predetermined amount of time to God every day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sure. What is that time? In that time, we are going to contemplate about God. It can be anything. It can be swadhyay, like reading the Bhagavad Gita. It can be closing your eyes and doing the japa of Om. It can be kumbhak, holding your breath and visualizing the God picture that you have in your worship room. Anything. Just give me 5-10 minutes duration. Okay, every day. Once you give duration, there has to be periodicity or frequency, which means I did it once, but I'm also committing to a certain frequency that I'll come back and do it. Every day, okay. Every 2 days, okay. Whatever works. Once a week, once a month, sure. But that has to be followed upon. You cannot leave just one day and leave it. Okay. So you gave periodicity. Then the third step is intensity. Now that is where the autopilot starts. The first two things you have to do to Ichha Shakti, what we call Sanghatas Chetna Dhiti, consciousness, the consciousness realizing that we are not having whatever we want to achieve, and then that telling us what needs to be done as the next step. So then after that, there is the third stage of bhav, or the intensity. The intensity or the bhav is what is generated automatically. So then is the bhav comes, then there will be surrender, that okay, you and I are different because of the imperfections of ahamkara. I am seeing myself different from the God. So like that favorite statement of Hanuman, who are you? When Rama asks, Hanuman says, when I don't know you, I worship you. When I know you, know meaning knowledge, when I know you, I am you. Because the raindrop has merged with the ocean. So it's not different in as a cloud drop anymore. So that is the understanding, that we have to keep it segregate. We are segregated as long as there is the veil of ignorance, and once the veil is removed, they become the same. So the bhav starts to spontaneously germinate as the third step, what we call intensity. When bhav happens, then bhakti happens. Bhakti says, okay, you are better than me, I want to be like you. So now you start making some concessions, some changes, some it's just like a form of tyaga. You have a child and you have a bhav for the child, so you want the child to be happy and good looking and whatnot, so you start doing certain sacrifices, tyaga. So that is a surrender. I am nothing, you are everything. That is I will do a lot of things, service, surrender. So that's why duration, periodicity, intensity, or bhav. Bhav generates a sense of surrender called bhakti. That is through invocation, kirtan, satsang, worship of the God, offering God food before you eat the food. All those things are bhakti. Then from bhakti, surrender, what else to do? We start seeing Paramatma in everybody. So if there is Paramatma or God moiety in all the creatures around us, then the next step is only service. Love people, feed people, serve people. Neem Karoli Baba lineage, Nishkam Karm lineage. No expectation, just working. Tyaga. That is what is the best teaching of the Gita. So that is Nishkam Karma. When Nishkam Karma, you have done a lot of Nishkam Karma, then there's nothing left to learn. We become Professor Emeritus. We have taught all the lessons. I have done my service. Whatever was needed to be done, I have done, like Ramana. Then you become Dhyan. To go in Dhyan, like Buddha. Nothing needs to be done. He has done everything. Experiences have been collected. Dhyan. So then becomes a dhyani, a meditator. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyas saj jnanam vishijate. Better than mechanical practice is knowledge, and better than knowledge is meditation. Why is meditation higher than knowledge? Because knowledge itself is received in meditation. All these Rishi Munis, they did not, there has to be a first person who wrote the stuff without reading it from somewhere. No plagiarism at that point. So that came from dhyana. That is why dhyan is the janni of gyan. ध्यान से ही ज्ञान आता है, लेकिन ध्यान में डायरेक्टली नहीं जा पाते, इसीलिए निष्काम कर्म, भक्ति योग, ये सब के थ्रू जाते हैं. तो दैट इज ध्यान. After dhyan, the person becomes gunatit, because contemplation liquidates vasana. Chinmayananda. Contemplation liquidates vasana. The more you do contemplation, the more you develop vairagya, detachment from the indriya, from the manas. So less of the thoughts, less of the emotions. Here comes sthit pragya. Dhyana generates sthit pragya. Dhyan generates some drishti, having equipoise towards all the beings. And then you become gunatit. You are no more prisoners to the sattva, rajas, tamas. Gunatit. Once you become gunatit, you become peaceful. Nothing perturbs us. Once we become peaceful, there is gyan. And he says, Gyanam labdha param shantim achirenadhigachati. Gyanam labdha param shantim. Once gyan is obtained, param shanti achirenadhigachati. Very quickly you attain. So you see how towards the end, the steps happen very fast. Towards beginning, the steps happen very slow. That's why the conversion rate is not there, because people do not have patience in Kali Yuga. So they will lose. Even if they're not making progress, if they continue doing stuff, they will continue to make progress. Very good question. So to sum it up, the steps, maybe Umaji will make a slide out of this, but basically there has to be duration, periodicity or frequency, creates intensity or bhav. Bhav generates surrender in bhakti. Bhakti generates service in Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam Karma Yoga generates a modality of Tyaga. When everything has been Tyag, then that generates the buddhi develops dhyan, and dhyan focus will generate gunatit state, in which the patient is totally having shraddha, bhakti bhav, everything is totally saturated to generate shanti. And after shanti, the person who is gunatit will attain moksha.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right. So, all right, friends, thank you for coming today. We will do another session tomorrow, same time. I will post the details later.